Hello and welcome back to Nathaniel Witter Updates, I guess we're calling it now. Um, let's review Godzilla X Kong The New Empire. Before we get into anything, that is an awful title. I remember seeing an image, which I think was real, of a hat, a sort of cap, with Godzilla and Kong as the logo. Now, Godzilla versus Kong, well, seemed like it might have been the culmination of what we call the Monsterverse. Obviously, you got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Cinematic Universe, the DC EU. It was unofficially called by many people for a long time. That's dead in the water now. So pretty much the Monsterverse with Godzilla and Kong and all the other monsters since 2014 leading up to this. This is the fifth film. Is pretty much the, not financially, because DC movies have made more, but in terms of its sort of cohesion and general success and popularity, in terms of the films actually being good rather than people going to see them, this is unquestionably the second most successful cinematic universe since Iron Man came out in 2008. Beyond that, the Lego universe? Even then, Ninjago in the second Lego movie, not great. But this series has been a win, and I thought, Godzilla vs. Kong came out in COVID, saved the industry, made a lot of money. Where do you go from there? You're just going to keep making Godzilla and Kong movies, or doesn't that make it less special? But no, this is definitely an improvement on the last two movies in the series. I think it's probably third best out of the five. I still like the first two. I think Godzilla is a much more serious tone. It's a disaster movie. It's extremely effective. One of my favourite blockbusters of all time, in fact. And Kong Skull Island, pretty much perfect monster movie with a more light tone, but pretty much as fun as you could possibly get. And this is just about almost as fun as that. I think the human cast being much reduced, about half the cast of the last two movies, fantastic. There's essentially only four human characters. Dan Stevens, the standout as a sort of veterinarian to the monsters. He's the standout, but the cast being shorter, just even if they're not given that much development, it gives them more development they would do if you had 10 to 15 characters, which the last films have had. King of the Monsters especially had too many. And I think Godzilla vs. Kong had a Godzilla human storyline and a Kong skull human storyline as well. And I think that was one more than you need. This has the one. Lots more stuff in the sort of journey to the middle of the universe, middle of the earth, center of the earth, like that old film. Like in the last film, it's sort of the hollow earth where Kong lives, and you got Godzilla up here. But yeah, really, this is Kong's movie. For the first time ever, I think King Kong, is actually the lead character in one of these first movies. Godzilla is not in it that much, so it is really a Kong movie. You've got a baby Kong, not his baby, but sort of surrogate father stuff, and that always works really well. I mean, you've got The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, both with Pedro Pascal, and lots of films like that where, Logan as well with Hugh Jackman, or The Planet of the Apes, probably the new Planet of the Apes movie. You've got a sort of father figure and a child, and they go through a dangerous place and they bond. That works very well here for Kong and little Kong. I mean, the villain, the Scar King, a big red monkey. Bit of a disappointment, not in the film that much. Pretty much shows up about an hour into the film, and it's a short film. It's only an hour 45 minutes, and is cool, but not as powerful as you think. It's more the big ice monster Shimu that is more interesting. But the first 40 minutes, I mean, it does take a little bit of a while to gear up, and again, even more so the last film, which was a big jump in terms of realism and just, I mean, obviously it's not realistic, but leaving all sense of weight and scale and slowness to the massive monsters that would move slowly. That's completely out the window. And I think with King of the Monsters, it was a little bit like that. which is the second Godzilla movie, but not enough for that to be fun. Godzilla vs. Kong was pretty much perfect. This, yeah, you have to accept it, but the finale, Kong with this sort of metal gauntlet that he's been given to heal his hand by the humans, and new pink radioactive, which is the most, like, I can't remember what type of radiation that is, but the pink radiation he picks up is the most powerful, type by its color. So that makes sense. But he's got pink sort of spikes, dorsal fins now. Kong and Godzilla jumping out of the hollow earth, breaking out into the sort of big middle of it with this sort of weird gravity pyramids that crash in the middle, and then they fight in anti-gravity in the middle of the planet and in the crust against a big red monkey riding a ice dragon, fighting in anti-gravity with sort of electronic score by Tom Holkenberg, who's done a really good job with the Godzilla music, especially. Again, I mean, it's just fun. It's ridiculous, but it's fun, and we need movies like that. I mean, compare this to Fast and Furious or Transformers, which it's equally as stupid as, but 10 times less offensive, which is good. These are fun films that anyone can enjoy. There are no moments where you're like, oh, that's like really sort of grim Hollywood with Michael Bay jokes or sort of lewd humour. Nothing like that. And it doesn't insult your intelligence. It feels like, hey, yeah, we know we're being stupid, but you're along for the ride with us. And, if you accept it, then that's fine. You don't have to switch your brain off. I mean, I probably use that phrase a bit, but you just enjoy it. I mean, they're big monsters to begin with, so any realism can go out the window, and it looks like it's going to be by default, if it becomes the highest grossing of the series, it will be the highest grossing monster movie, unadjusted for inflation, of all time, which is great. That is absolutely great. That is what you want to see. I'm pretty sure it is. I think King Kong in 2005 would be the highest, or Godzilla 1998, but we don't talk about that one because it sucked. I haven't seen it, but I know it sucked. So yeah, I love this movie. The end half an hour is the most crazy thing you've ever seen. I would recommend seeing it whilst it's still in the cinema, like I did with Dune 2. It's not as good as Dune 2. It's not as good as Society of the Snow, which is an incredible Spanish language, I think, film. I think it was in Spanish, but set in South America. That's on Netflix, Society of the Snow. Incredible. Dune 2, incredible. Challenges, even. Really great tennis sports sort of racy drama. Great stuff. But this is really fun. I loved it. I love Godzilla. I love Kong. And, fighting in anti-gravity in the middle of the earth and then going up into Rio and freezing everything in ice and fighting with those laser beams. And it's really fun. And that's what you want from a Godzilla movie. And it looks like there's going to be more, which is good. We need the MonsterVerse to expand a bit. The Monarch Apple TV show was fine, but I'm glad that the films are still doing really well, and this could do the best out of all of them. Will take 2 or 3 more weeks to get to the highest in the series, so it'll be close, but I think it'll do it. And at the moment, it's the second best of the series on the lowest budget, meaning it's the most profitable in the series. So there will be another one, which is what you want to hear. So I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I really loved it, really fun. So Godzilla and Kong, I guess we're calling it, or Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, or just the New Empire, or Godzilla. Well, it would be 4, but also like 35 or 40 or something. There's so many Godzilla movies. Not as good as Godzilla -1 though. That is still the best Godzilla movie out there, and best monster movie probably. But yeah, incredible. Go check it out, and I'll see you next time on, I guess we're calling it Nathaniel Witter Updates now.